All right. Hey, so here we are. It's July somehow, which means it's time for the June monthly thoughts. So if you're watching live, then hi, welcome. Feel free to comment whatever in the chat. And if you're watching on the replay, feel free to comment in the comments and I'll try to get back to you. If I'm spinning around, it's because I'm in my spinny chair. So sorry about that. If I start looking like I'm dying of heat, it's because I turned off the air conditioner so that the audio for this video wouldn't be a complete disaster. And yeah, let's just get into it. It's honestly been this month felt like both really long and really short. Like when I was thinking, oh, what did I do in June? Like I kind of completely forgot about stuff that happened at the beginning of the month because it's just been like such a month. Like I've just been so busy. And I maybe you're thinking, oh, Lauren, you always look really busy, but I feel like I was like exceptionally busy. When I think about everything that happened in June. And maybe that's not even true, but maybe it is. I'm not sure. Or maybe I always feel this way about life. I don't know, but I am in a pretty good mood overall, personally, on a personal level, mostly because I've been in the air conditioning today and yesterday was fine. But like Sunday, I was at Pride, which was so much fun. It was so hot. And it was so hot last week. And I feel like when it's just so hot, I'm just like sluggish. So it's a little cooler today. The world at large, less happiness because of the big, beautiful bill. Call your representatives, okay? Contact the House, and all that. But you guys aren't here to hear about that. You're here to hear about my month and comment about whatever. So we'll start with the goals. I actually accomplished some of my goals like pretty well. Um, and sometimes I low key feel like I should be thinking about my goals during the month because I'm just gonna be so for real. I have not made like any progress on my water drinking goal. Like I'm still drinking like the same amount of water. I have a cup here though of some water, but I feel like I have not increased my water intake. I feel like I'm drinking more water than I did like the very beginning of the year, but I would say like since I've been back in New Jersey, I feel like I've been drinking the same amount of water, maybe a little more. So if there's any tips or advice on how to increase the water intake, please tell me because I am not making any progress on that goal. Like not at all. Zilcha. We're stagnant. My two private goals, one of them, I made no progress the past month. The other one, solid effort. Um, for my book goal, I actually hit the goal of 10 new books for the year. I actually read 12 new books for the year already. So I am very proud of myself there. Yay, Lauren. In fact, I was literally reading, I finally got to read The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and I was reading that yesterday, and I had to finish it in like within half an hour or whatever because I had it on Libby and I just like could not put the book down. Like I got one of those like skip the line copies, but I was like busy, so I didn't really get to read it until I had like only I only had 2 or 3 days left. Anyways, I love books. I feel like this goal, especially reading new books, has really pushed me, obviously, to read more new books, but to like get back into it because I've been rereading like old faves, but there's just something about like, oh my God, what's going to happen next? Which I love. So I'm feeling really hyped about that. And that means I can now get my e-reader. I am planning on getting a Kindle just because most people I know who have e-readers have Kindles and they have good things to say about them, but I am open to other ones. And if they have good reviews and stuff, because I don't necessarily want to support Amazon unless I kind of have to, but I know that like everyone who I've experienced is like a reliable reader has been a Kindle. But anyway, so I can get that, but I'm waiting at least till Prime Week so I get a sale for myself. When it comes to my Bible in a year goal, I'm a little under 50% of the way through my goal, which is 50% of the Bible in a year. Which you might be thinking, wow, you're making like no progress. But I started the whole first part of the year with doing like a separate thing to get me in the mojo. So I am feeling actually pretty optimistic about reaching that goal. And I'm still slogging through the book of Numbers, but I'm almost done. We're so close to being done. And then I never want to read about the censuses ever again, basically. I do feel though that like I'm having some real dialogues with God within my journaling Bible. Although sometimes I'm kind of annoyed at him, but I think relationships, like, there's going to be moments where you're going to be mad, and that's okay. We're talking about it. As far as my extroverting self goes, I popped off. Okay. For one, I was on like a trip with my family and extended family, but I also went to two different like camera video expo events and Pride Fest. And I went out to brunch with my friends. So I was like really like hitting it out of the park there with like socializing with like multiple people events. So go me for that. And also, I just realized that I have like a couple remnants of like little stickers on my nails from Pride Fest. I apologize that they're kind of like falling apart, but it was, kind of a done literally at Pride Fest thing. So they lasted what they needed to last. And now they're just going to stay on my nails until they all come off. I don't know. I'm probably going to discover like a sticker, in like 2 weeks' time on the underside of like a desk because somehow it's going to get there. And that kind of magic, how that works. When it comes to my budgeting, finance goal, still doing good there. I mean, admittedly, it's been a lot easier just to since I've been living back with my parents. So I'm not going to pretend like I'm transparent about that, but I'm very feeling good with my financial situation. I did volunteer again, finally, at two different film events, which I think you could sort of also count as like extra events with like other people. But because I was there like a volunteer basis, they're like in this category. So I was there two different kind of like community sort of film events that I got to that I volunteered at. And it was really nice to feel like I'm like doing something again, like giving back in like a IRL way, because like I do try to like I did also go on a virtual kind of like move on um, organization call, but it's nice to be doing stuff like in person as well, especially since I like being in person. And right now, since I've been working remotely, I feel like I just need more in person engagement for myself. Otherwise, it's like just me and my computer. You know what I mean? As far as my violin goes, I did practice. The violin was played, but I need to practice more for sure. But I am feeling like I'm getting a bit more like arm strength at least, which is good because like I really couldn't play very much initially. So we definitely need to like me, myself, and I need to like keep that up. I feel like it like low key looks like I'm like muscular, maybe, but I think it's just like maybe I have a long bicep. I don't know. Apparently, my twin sister, she has long biceps. So maybe I also have long biceps. I kind of doubt it, but she looks like super muscular, no matter what. But whatever. It looks might be deceiving. Maybe it looks like I have arm muscles, but we're struggling. So we gotta work on that. And then for exploring a new place, I'm gonna count this. I went to the Javits Center for the first time for the Build Expo, and I'm gonna count that as my new place. I because that's in the area approximately. I did go to a new place at Lake George, my family camping trip, but that's not really my like local area, so I'm not counting that. Overall, I do feel like it was a good overall good month for goal progress, and hopefully next month I'll drink more water. We're in this month now, so that's like my main goal for July. When it comes to my goals are like making progress or accomplishing things, but the water we're totally stagnant. Again, if you have any tips on how I can drink more water, let me know because I'm desperate. Okay, I am desperate. But now for the good part, the fun part, the part we all wait for every month. Sorry, I just saw like a bit of fluff floating in the air behind me. I don't love that. There was actually like a whole moth, like this big, that was stuck in this room after the camping trip. And I thought he'd gotten away because I didn't see him after a couple of days. He actually died. My mom's, took his body to the yard or the trash because I like was afraid to touch him. But I had like the door open. I turned off all the lights in here and like turned on light in the hall to try to like guide him out, but it did not work. So I if I see something floating around, I'm like, oh my God, is there another moth? But I think that was just fluff. I hope. Let's hope. Anywho, the month started honestly very nicely. I went on a walk with my mom, my sister, and the puppy. Um, we put on his backpack. He doesn't look very happy in this picture, but I think that's because that was when we put him in his backpack and we realized that we had put too much in his backpack. So he had his water bottle and then our water bottle. So we actually like dumped a little bit of the water out onto some plants because uh, we tried to drink some of our water as well, but he looked a little, downridden. But once we poured a little water out, he kind of perked back up, and then continued on his merry way with his little hiking backpack because he is very athletic. And if we can kind of tire him out a little bit, by making him carry a bit more weight, we will. Um, and he doesn't really mind. I think he just like as long as it's not a ridiculous amount of weight, which I get. Like I this was later, but like I was gonna go to build and I was gonna bring my like whole camera, only one lens, but still just like my whole big camera setup and everything. And also had to bring like my work computer and stuff. And when I had like everything in the backpack, it was so heavy. I was like, okay, I'm gonna just have to ditch the camera because I need to bring my work computer and it's too heavy for me. So I understood his struggles with the water. I really did. He also tried to get a chipmunk that he couldn't get because the chipmunk ran up a bush and was hiding like this. And I thought that was very funny, mostly because Cal didn't know where the chipmunk went. He was like sniffing all over the ground, like around the lilac bush, but he could not figure out, like, he didn't think to look up. Not that he could have like jumped kind of into that area anyways, but I mean, he could have tried. But it's just funny because he's like sniffing and sniffing and sniffing, and he cannot, like, it does not occur to his little brain to look up. And that's why pets are enjoyable, in my opinion, because they're funny. And then just kind of chugging along. My first like busy day, I would say, would have been June 7th because I really girl bossed and almost too close to the sun, but not quite too close to the sun because we made it work. My mom and I went to the Montclair Art Museum in the morning, which I hadn't been in years, so it was very nice to go back. They have a lot of like nice New Jersey art, a lot of Native American art as well, which is really nice. And it's also like small, so you can see everything and you're not like exhausted, slash it has, or it's not like a full day adventure to see everything. So that was really nice. And then I had to like hustle because I had booked a specific like cleaning camera check slot at this unique photo like camera expo that I enjoyed kind of also just wandering around and getting a camera bag, which is sitting over there under my other bag. And so that was like kind of all day, but I had a specific slot to get my camera sensor like cleaned and checked out because I think there had been a smudge on it, which really annoyed me in New Zealand. And I had to like basically like Photoshop it out if it ever kind of was visible in photos. So I wanted to get that cleaned out before we went to Lake George. But that was a specific time. So I had to go like museum, quick lunch, unique photo. And then after unique photo, then my mom brought me to my sister's place because we were going to see Gypsy on Broadway that evening because for the first time, Lauren, me, I won the Broadway lottery. Usually Nicole's the winner of the lottery or my friend Sylvia, but I won this time. So that was really exciting. I honestly didn't really know the plot going into it, and I was devastated by the show. I mean, it was phenomenal. It was amazing, but it was also sad, but also phenomenal. So you know how good shows are. The only thing that was like maybe a mistake is that my sister and I got like a picture of Shirley Temple at dinner because it was cheaper than like if we each got say like two Shirley Temples. Um, it was just a lot. It was a lot of Shirley Temple. Let's just say that. Let's just say that. Um, and then the next day, I was back in the city because I met up with my friends for brunch. I'm not usually like a brunch girly in the sense that I wake up at the time where I would be a brunch girly, but I just don't usually go out for brunch. So it was quite exciting to go. We went to this place near Bryant Park, so it was very easy to get to from like Penn Station. And it was a really lovely day because like Saturday was kind of like rainy, though the evening cleared up, but Sunday was a very nice day. And then I had my first of my like kind of film volunteer events because I'm assisting this team who's hoping to make a horror anthology film in New Jersey. So that was cool. I definitely was a bit stressed just because I was like going to a place I'd never been before, but shout out to GPS and Google Maps because we got there. It was a little slower than I thought, mostly because I missed the exit, because it was confusing, even with the GPS, it was confusing, but it just rerouted, no problem. Only added a couple minutes, it was fine. But I was like, "Oh my god, no, I missed the exit." I don't usually do that, but sometimes, like, highways and exits are weird, like, you think, "Oh, it's this one," but it's like that. It was confusing, and, yeah, but yet I persisted and made it at the next exit and got through that fine. It was just a moment of terror that I missed the exit. And then it was basically then it was the other film event and then Lake George. I was so, so happy to be able to go on the family camping trip because, first of all, I got Lammy, the one and only. She was ready to go on the trip. Um, but I have not been able to go to Lake George, I think, since 2019 because we didn't go in 2020. And then I've been in LA since then over the summer. Usually my family goes later in the summer, but we went earlier this year due to availability. So I was just like so excited to go. I know that like some of the relatives weren't as happy because it was cooler than usual. So there was less like water activities and people were like a little more bundled up, like including me. Not on the first day. The first day was really nice and the last day was really nice, but it was a little cooler in the middle. But I was just so happy to be back by the lake. It's so like beautiful. The water is so nice. And like this was one of the views from our island. Like it's just so pretty and peaceful. I was cold, like sometimes in the evenings, but I bundled up. We had my dad like remembered to bring it's called like a campfire blanket, which is basically kind of like a sleeping bag and like it's plasticky on the outside on one side and the other side's like fabricy. So it can be kind of cozy by the campfire. Made some incredible s'mores. Nicole killed it at the water sports. Like she's iconic. I'm so proud of her. Look at her go on the kneeboard. She's my hero. I mean, not just because she can do water sports, but she's just so talented and she water skied. I mean, I was taking the pictures. Like I'm leaning, on the boat, like have my foot kind of like wrapped around the back chair legs that I feel like a little more secure because I'm like leaning over the boat as it's like, going. So I took so many pictures and a lot of them were so bad, right? Because that's what you do when you're taking like sport mode photos. A bunch of them are going to be bad. But overall, it was a win. Got some good photos, had a great time. And then like the other just like island stuff, played some games, got to just like hang and chill. It was just so nice and I'm I'm just so happy I got to go since it's been so long since I got to go. And, you know, look at me and Nicole. We're so cute. Yay, twinsies. Twinsies for the winsies. Plus, I got to feel like very cool and also like annoying in like this hammock that we sprang and set up. I felt like so chill, right? I'm like leaning back, like, woo, like this is the life. So let me be cringe cool at least once in my life. I did also get like this crazy bug bite. This was like day 2 of the bite. And it's still like sort of visible on my arm, but it's way better now. It was stinging for a few days. I was really stressed, but when we tried to do some research, it looked like just like a insect bite, like kind of an unnamed insect. But I was kind of freaking out because it was stinging at first. Like we put on some cream on it, and I took some like Benadryl. But I was kind of freaked out. I was like, "Oh my god, am I gonna die?" Of course, my dad was like, "Maybe you're gonna turn to Spider-Man, have like spider powers." That has not happened. Thankfully though, because I realized I had like activated my heart rate. I'm afraid of spiders. I mean, I've been making mega progress since I did like my OCD program, but I don't need to suddenly develop spider powers. That might be the last straw. Okay, that would be the end of Lauren if I suddenly became a spider. Um, that would not be good. So grateful that didn't happen. And this is me. This is me and Nicole in front of our tent. We do have a 6-person tent for 2 of us, but hopefully maybe one year, like my older sister will come again or something. And it would be a lot if we were there with my parents as well, because we don't go, well, my sister does go camping just like on her little sleeping pad thing that she like blows up with the air. And like she literally blows up her pillow. I brought like a real pillow. So she's very campery. So we could have 6 of those tiny things, but, like, I had a cot, right? My parents have cots, and they're not crazy, but you cannot fit 6 of those in, like, a six-man tent. That just doesn't work that way. So that's an explanation for why there's 2 people in a 6-person tent. And then it was back to good old New Jersey, except that I went to Build, which was the B&H, like, film photo expo, and I was, like, blown away. It was really cool. It was very crowded, especially later in the day. I got there pretty early because I knew that because I work Pacific hours, I was gonna have, like, the most time in the morning. So I wanted to get there early to go around, like, the expo and, like, the expo floor, and also, try to go to some of the talks. It was very interesting, and especially, like, the one talk I went to about, like, kind of get for short films and getting into festivals and stuff, talking about that strategy since I'm working on, like, my animated short, and it's, like, pretty much it's almost done. We're just wrapping up sound design, and then I'll be hoping, submitting that to festivals. So it felt very timely and just, like, applicable and useful for me. So I really appreciated that talk, and there was a talk with, oh my god, I think his name was now I'm, like, afraid I'm gonna say the wrong name. I wanna say it was Ed. Was it Ed? It was Ed Lackman. Whew. And he's a cinematographer who does a lot of, like, film, like, shoots on film, and one of his movies was Carol. I love the movie Carol, so it felt very exciting to be able to attend, like, such an event. So, also, we got, like, these really cute there was a bunch of, like, Instax, like, printer things, and, like, I got this picture at, like, one of the booths. I just think I look really cute and happy, so it was a win all around. I it Build was 2 days, but I only went to the first day. I did also do, like, the evening cruise around the Statue of Liberty, and I got some, like, pretty great photos of Lady Liberty, I will say, with my phone. Because remember, I didn't have my camera because it was too heavy. Basically, because for the first time, I really utilized my phone's, like, 50 MP feature within detail enhance, which does take longer to, like, take the picture. But I was like, whoa, this makes a real difference. So I kind of felt like I was, like, popping off, except for the fact that I accidentally had my friend take a picture of me with the 50 MP detail enhancer on. And I was like, actually, we don't need to see my face with detail enhancements. Please, actually, I don't need to see that. We can pretend that, that picture didn't exist and we'll just delete that. We don't need to see that. But overall, it was fun. It obviously maybe would have been nicer if it was not, like, overcast and cloudy. But I actually like, I got this picture with the fog and stuff, and I actually really like it. Like, I think it's very visually interesting and pretty. Obviously, it'd been fun if it was, like, not you could see the stars or just, like, brighter outside, but I think you have to, like, make do with what you get, and I overall am just, like, very appreciative of the whole event. And then the rest of the week was, working the huge until well, actually, there was also then Juneteenth. So it was working, not the huge, and then it was Juneteenth, which was partially productive in the first part of the day, and then I got a migraine in the second half of the day, and that really derailed me and my mood, which I definitely need to, like, kind of work on. I just think since I changed my medications for my migraines, I don't get them as frequently anymore, but I feel like they're worse when I do get them. So I just kind of have to, like, take a deep breath and, like, talk about my doctor, kind of figure out, like, okay, we need to cope with this better or just, like, accept the situation instead of be like, oh my God, I'm defeated by life. Because that's kind of where my mind went, which is not useful like, it's not beneficial at all in any way. But obviously, I can't necessarily control my, like, immediate reactions and thoughts. I can just try to control how I act on those thoughts. But I was pretty bummed out. However, things turned around because Nicole won the Broadway lottery to see Stranger Things: The First Shadow. Admittedly, I've never seen the TV show Stranger Things. So when she asked if I wanted to go with her, I was like, I mean, I like plays. I like Broadway, but I don't know anything about Stranger Things really. So, like, will I be able to understand what's going on? And it's a prequel, so I was able to understand what's going on. It was amazing. Okay, like 11 out of 10. Okay, it was amazing, phenomenal. I I mean, it was speechless. The set design, the lead actor, it was really, really good. I highly recommend There were some scary moments. I did shriek at one point. I think a couple of people were also a little scared, but I do get scared kind of easily, especially with like a jump scare type thing. But I still recommend, unless you're like really, really terrified of that stuff, in which case I don't recommend because you will also scream and maybe have like a worse time overall versus like a couple moments of like terror. Like my heart rate like spiked during some times in the show, which is just sort of funny. But it was really good, and it just made me feel like this is like immersive. This is theater. Like this is what we should be like working towards for future experiences and performances where like we're in the story, things are around us, the set's like coming towards us. It was really, really incredible. And I definitely felt like inspired to go out there and make stuff, which is like what I want to feel when I go see a show. I know, like, obviously, for people who like they don't want to maybe make their own stories, they probably have different feelings. But for me, someone who like likes to make my own stories, I love when I see something that really is like, this is why I want to do this. Like I want to make stories and films or whatever that leave people feeling how I feel right now after watching this show, right? So it was just really exciting. And I also had a very cute outfit on. Um, I was kind of trying to go for like the pink ladies from Greece because the story takes place in like the late 50s, the prequel. So I had like a little pink dress, I had like a jacket that was super hot. So I only wore the jacket in the theater. I was not wearing the leather jacket outside at all. It was way too hot for that. But, you know, I knew I had the jacket. So I felt cool in my head at the very least. Plus, I just really love like the Pride playbills. I think they're fun. We'll know rainbow capitalism is like really good and dead if one day they don't do the Pride playbills. That will be devastating. I'm not necessarily like a fan of like Pride just for performance sake, but I would have liked some more performative Pride this past month, just with everything going on in the world, and like a lot of LGBT plus rights kind of being tried to roll back around the globe. So yeah, but anyways, I wasn't trying to get like too sad there, but just a fact. I then later in the month, I know, as I said, this was a busy month. I was like going. I went to the first New York City, like East Coast HPA event, which is the Hollywood Professional Association. I was involved with them when I was in LA, and I was excited to go to like this first event. I was a little nervous because it was 102 degrees. Okay. And it was like a skyline social. So I was really worried that it was just gonna be like a rooftop and be like, oh God. And it was a rooftop, but 2/3 of it was like contained with an air conditioner, and then like kind of 1/3 was outside. So not a lot of time was spent outside because it was just like brutally hot. But I was just happy that there was an indoor section. And I was excited because I knew a couple people were going to be there, but there were more people from LA that kind of came as like sort of that I wasn't expecting to see that I knew. So along with meeting some new people, it was nice to see some people that I did already know. I know that like networking events and mixers, like I think you just kind of get used to them, but I do sort of feel like it's just gonna be a little awkward. So it's nice that there was a couple people I knew kind of as like a boost, like a little yeah, to then give me like the you go forward to like introduce myself to new people. I think it can just be kind of like, oh my God, I don't know anybody. And I do still feel like relatively younger in the industry at events like that. So it was like sometimes you just need a little booster, which I greatly appreciated. Um, I filmed my scrapbook video, which I'm very pleased with. I know that it may not like get a lot of views or whatever, but I kind of made it for me, low key, and because that's what I do with this YouTube channel because it's like a hobby for me. So I make the videos that I want to make and that I would rewatch later. And if other people happen to watch them, cool. Speaking of people watching them, my Sabrina Carpenter short for Manchild did do very well for me. I think my second best performing short ever. So if you watched that, thank you. I appreciate it. That was quite exciting to see. I was in the car going to Lake George. I was like, oh my God, my Sabrina Carpenter short popped off. My dad's like, oh, like how'd it do? And I was like, got 300K views. And he's like, 300,000 views? I was like, yeah. So that was exciting. And we love exciting. I also discovered at the mall that there is a Yeti store at the Short Hills Mall. And this may not seem exciting to you, but I didn't know Yeti made like so many products. I mean, they had a beach chair that was like for Yetis. Unrelated, honestly. It was like the next picture I took because I took a couple pictures of things I liked because they were really cute. Like, look, they have these like little these little stackable cups, and these have handles. Unrelated, so cute. Yeti, if you're watching, I would love to do an unboxing video. They're so cute. And yeah, so that's what I saw. And then, of course, it was Pride. That's we wrapped up the month. I'm sorry that I keep saying and then. I'm just like going through my pictures and like, oh yeah, that's what I did next. So we did dress my little prince Cal in his Pride bandana because Pride puppy for the win. And then I went with my bestie to Pride Fest. My dad did not understand why we weren't going to the march part. And I said, like, we've been to the march a bit before, and it's so hot. Like, and I don't know about you, but I'm on SNRIs. Okay. I don't do that well in the heat. So we wanted to like go celebrate, be with our fellow queer people, and then go home. Okay. We're no longer in college. Okay. We're old ladies. We got to be in and out. So that's the plan. And I'm really proud of myself. I did not get sunburned. I put on lots of sunscreen. I had a hat, I had sunglasses. I wore a shirt that had like full like arm coverage. I made that mistake before with wearing my like cute pride outfit, and then I got like sunburned and I was not a happy camper. So we learn. Okay, we live and we learn. So we had a great time, and I really liked it. I felt like at first I felt like there were less people than usual, and then I just remembered that we just got there like at opening, like at 10:58, and it opened at 11. Because as the day progressed, like more and more people showed up, which makes sense. I just like had forgotten that we came there like literally like early slash right on time, which like most people are not doing, especially on a Sunday morning. So it all made sense. And yeah, I'm just like overall really grateful, for everything I got to do this month and for like the support of my family, my friends with like my endeavors, such as they are. Also, very amusingly, I hit the monthly step goal of 200,000 steps by, I got 4 steps more than I needed for the month. I just made it. I just crept in there for the monthly step goal. So shout out to me sneaking in there at the last second to get 200,004 steps in June. Boo-rah, baby. Yeah. So yeah, it was a pretty good month for me personally. Again, stress with the world like at large. I am excited for Zoran in New York. I can't vote for him, but I would if I could. And if you want to get involved and you're interested in more leftist stuff, check out the Working Families Party. I love the Working Families Party, and they're great. Yeah, support gay people year round. Okay, Pride is not just in June. Pride is year round, and be nice to one another. That's my very important message as I close out this video. I'm now going to drink water because I realized I was like on a roll, and I have my water right there. I can see it, but I did not drink any of it. And it's also getting warm in here. So Lauren needs to turn off this, turn on the air conditioner, and chug the water. Except I won't actually chug the water. Don't worry, Nicole, if you're watching, chugging water bad, I know. And with that, I'm going to close out. Again, thank you so much to people who were watching. I saw you lurking, even though you didn't chat. You can always chat, don't worry. And if you're watching it on the replay, feel free to let me know your thoughts on whatever in the comments. And I will catch you next time. Bye.